They're back to 500 now, and they're back home for a game this weekend. We'll take you inside their story, inside the Soul. Welcome to the Soul Insider, brought to you by Foods Galore. And welcome to another edition of the Soul Insider, brought to you by Foods Galore. I'm your host, Lou Tilley. Coming up tonight, as always, the head coach of the Soul, Clint Dolezel, and a couple of their star players from their latest and biggest win of the season at Chicago. The Soul have now gotten their record back even to 500 with a big game coming up this weekend at the Wells Fargo Center. They were on the road where the Soul would hit the 1/3 mark of their regular season, the 6th of 18 games. In Chicago, an opponent that had won 4 straight. But the Soul had to come in hungry. After their first 2 home games, both losses in unlikely fashion. Against Cleveland, a kick return that looked like a Soul touchdown became a turnover and an overtime loss instead. And then in the conference championship rematch, Jacksonville used more Soul turnovers and 2 tall receivers to break out on top. The Soul saw a last-second chance to tie, falling complete. But in Chicago, the Soul offense was flawless. Nothing but scores on all 11 possessions. While the Soul defense forced 5 turnovers and one big 72-41. The Soul now even on the season at 3-3. The Soul Insider is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer, by Walgreens Pharmacy at the corner of Happy and Healthy. Stop pain. Stop pain. Exactly what it does. Bud Light. Enjoy an ice cold Bud Light. Here we go. And Executive Auto Body, presenting sponsor of the Philadelphia Soul No Fan Left Behind program.
Scott, he'd do a great job for us, whether it be the steak meat, the lobster, everything is our own brand. It's a testimonial to Foods Galore.
Service is what's made our company. Loyalty, reliability, honesty. Your growth was one of the main reasons why I evolved in the business.
People look at Chicky and Pete's as a success story, but it's actually your success story. It works just like a marriage, because I still have my wife and I still have you.
Remember this name, Lundy Law.
Bradford White Water Heaters, American made, American owned, built to be the best. Why would you buy any other brand? Visit bradfordwhite.com to find a contractor near you.
It's the Hyundai Drive Your Way Drive of the Game.
That was Larry Bracken scoring the touchdown as the Soul came up with a defensive stop to start the second half and then build their lead. Welcome back to the Soul Insider, joined again by Soul head coach Clint Dolezel. And I know, Clint, it had to be almost a sigh of relief. You got a big win, but more importantly, you eliminated almost all the mistakes that have plagued you in the last few games.
Yeah, we finally put a complete game together, which was really nice, and against a good football team that was 4-2 and won 4 straight. So we needed that, and we were pleased to get it.
That's what had me concerned. You were going there to Chicago where they had won 4 in a row. They were getting in that habit, and you had come off a couple of games where you got a lot of bad breaks. And sometimes it's hard to get that out of your head. How did you turn that approach around this past week?
Well, man, we focused in. Practice have really been good actually the last 2 weeks. Even though we lost against Jacksonville, it was a great week of practice. We prepped again well this week, and the guys were real urgent about going out and playing good football and taking care of the football. getting turnovers. We haven't been getting many turnovers and taking care of the football on offense as far as scoring every drive, and we did that.
Here's an astounding stat. If you haven't gotten your chance yet to watch AFL football in the Soul at the Wells Fargo Center this coming weekend, the 11th, and you can still get your tickets now at 888-789-SOUL. If you haven't seen it, it's an offensive-based game. Look at the final score from this past week. But in 11 possessions, Clint, you scored on all 11 possessions.
We did. We had one half stop where we kicked a field goal. We kind of fizzled out and shot ourselves in the foot, but Carlos did a great job kicking on that, got us the field goal. And, you know, they played some unsound defenses, and we took advantage of the unsound defense. So it was a good job by Dan.
What does that mean?
Meaning they tried to play some zones but didn't get back in their zones. And a lot of times that confuses quarterbacks, but we were able to protect long enough to beat that coverage and get some easy scores.
We're going to talk about that. The stats were overwhelming here in first downs, 29-19. As we said, no turnovers by you, and yet you forced 3 and added 2 stops on down, so 5 stops for your defense in this game.
The amazing part was that's exactly what I asked for going into the game.
Really?
I said I wanted 3 turnovers and 2 stops. That means 5 and no stops by our offense. And actually asked for a turnover on special teams, and we got one of those as well. So,
well, coaching's easy then, isn't it?
they did what I asked for once.
All you have to do is write the script, and it happens. And on some other notes, your team, which had been prone to the turnover this year as opposed to last year, none. A spotless game by your offense.
Yeah, that's what it takes to win in this game. Not having any turnovers. They're so huge in our game. Not so much in the outdoor game when you have a turnover here and there. Usually where it hurts you there if you have it deep in your own red zone area. You know, in this game, if you have a turnover, it usually, you know, turns into points by the other team. So that's big by us.
Well, your young quarterback, Dan Raudabaugh, if we can tear him away from the trough, will be joining us here at Chicken and Pete's in just a minute. Was this his best game of the year as far as being a field general?
It was his most complete game for sure. You know, not only that, he commanded, you know, the respect of the other team and our team. You know, he was barking at our guys a little bit, which he needs to do. You know, he needs to make sure that he's the only one talking that huddle when he's out there, and it showed. The guys performed well for him and knew it was a big game. We treat it as a must-win, so and that's good that we could play with that kind of pressure and do well.
This doesn't sound like a lot, but in the Arena League, 58 yards rushing, most of them designed plays, not scrambles. That's a lot of yards on the ground.
Yeah, there is no scrambling in our offense. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen by Derek, and a few bubble screens they count as runs that we run a lot of, and we took care of the football that way too. You know, Derek did a great job. There was no chance of fumbles this week. He covered the ball up well and had some big runs.
And on defense, and we're going to have him, Rayshon Kaiser, number 7, the ball hawk, finally does break through and get a pick, and it's all about confidence for him, isn't it?
No doubt. I mean, it's confidence, no matter how good you are, how long you've been doing it. When things start going bad, it gets to you. It does. And he's been thinking about it. And, you know, it was nice to see him get one. I think he'll just roll on from here.
It's funny. It's not funny, but a week ago, 2 key guys were on that injured list. Larico Stevenson back this week. Ryan McDaniel, the tall, kind of a slot receiver for you. And what a difference he made in his return this week.
Huge. Had 4 touchdowns and plays hard. You know, a kid plays hard for a first-year guy. He's going hard all the time. When he is making a mistake, it's 100, miles an hour. So, and Larico played well all night long. Returned off the net for us too. So, getting those guys back was key.
Back to Ryan McDaniel, kind of a tweener guy. We had him on the show earlier this year. He's tall, but maybe deceptively fast as well, and very aggressive, right?
He can roll. He's probably a 4-5, high 4-5 guy, and would add that with the motion. I mean, that's very, threatening to a defense. When he starts rolling at you. And he's probably 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
Got great hands. He is slender, but he's really chiseled. I mean, he is well put together. So
great story. Dan Raudabaugh will join us when we come back. We'll pull him away from the food, and Clint gets to sit down and enjoy his meal here at Chickies and Pete's. That's where we tape every Monday night. You're watching the Soul Insider, brought to you by Foods Galore, and we'll be right back with the quarterback of the Philadelphia Soul.
Ticket packages are available for the next Soul home game. Call the ticket office at 888-789-SOUL or PhiladelphiaSoul.com.
Hey, where's everyone going in such a hurry? That's right, it's the Let's Go sales event at your Hyundai dealer. Check out the new Santa Fe. It's already an IIHS top safety pick. Don't be the last one to your Hyundai dealer.
Now, get the new 2013 Santa Fe Sport for just $269 a month. Head to your local Hyundai dealer today.
Bernie Robbins Jewelers in Radnor, Newtown, Marlton, Summers Point, and the Borgata.
Remember this name, Lundy Law.
Here's the Colonial Marble rock-solid player of the game.
And our thanks to Colonial Marble for sponsoring our rock-solid player of the game. In this case, it's Ryan McDaniel. Only 6 catches, but 67 yards and 4 touchdowns, and all coming at important times. Welcome back to the Soul Insider, brought to you by Foods Galore. I'm Lou Tilley, joined by quarterback Dan Rautoball. And your coach, Clint Dolezel, just told us that this week, this win for you was your best game of the year so far.
Yeah, you know, I thought it started with a week of practice. You know, we were pretty disappointed in the loss to Jacksonville. I think they might have snuck out of here with a win. But you can't look back, you got to look forward. We worked hard all week. We had a good game plan. We really hit the film room offensively and defensively, everybody putting in extra time. And then we just tried to put it together. We got some early scores and an early bar ball, which really set the tempo for the game. And give credit to the O-line giving me time and finding open guys. So
there's Dan's line. There's the stats right there. And they might not jump off the page at you, but the important thing is, Dan, no turnovers for the first time this year. And you continue the trend that I've seen in you this year, that if it's not there, you're not trying to force it. You'll even throw it into the seat sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it may look like we're trying to put it in the stands when we're really trying to fit it in there. But
you're leading them. You put it out in front where only he can catch it, right?
Give our guys, us or nobody is what Coach says. Either we catch it or nobody does. But yeah, I mean, we had a good game plan. Clint was real confident coming in and had some good plays drawn up. And we just went out there and executed. And yeah, you know, they're good players on defense too. Sometimes they guess right and live to play another play. Throw it in the stands and yeah.
Which gets expensive because in the AFL you get to keep the ball.
Yeah.
But listen, you lost 2/3 of your chemistry last year. Your 3 receivers last year. 2 of them. Donovan Morgan went away. Hewley, and by the way, congratulations to Jeff Hewley.
Yeah, I read that.
Signed by the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Good for Jeff.
Good for him. Good guy. We miss him here. So you're putting 2 new guys in there, and you're still, after 6 games, I guess, still trying to work it out with your new trio of receivers.
Yeah, well, it's not just that it's a new trio. There's been a different lineup for, I want to say, about half the games. Alvance has done a good job coming in, playing for us. Ryan has been in and out with an injury. And then Andre is one of those guys that could play all 3 spots for us. But, I mean, you know, we're trying to get everyone to do their job. And it starts with me, too. I got to make sure I throw it to our guys and get us in the right play. But, you know, we've got a bunch of great athletes, and we trust them, and we're just trying to get the ball in their hands.
Well, before you go, I'm going to compliment you. 2 games back, the disappointing loss to Jacksonville, where you score with about 20 seconds left. I don't know if you heard my replay, the call of the game that I made, but when Ross is hit on the goal line there, and that ball goes into the end zone, your reaction to get into the end zone and cover that ball was one of the great plays that I've ever seen.
Well, we normally don't have to worry about that too much when the ball's in Derek's hands. It's normally in very safe hands with him, but, I mean, it was just kind of a reaction. Saw it pop up, and I knew there wasn't, if they jumped on it, I knew it was over, and I saw it there in the end zone. I said, hey, I actually thought I scored, but I forgot the rule that you can't advance the fumble. But, hey, jumped on it, gave us a chance to score, and we got in the next play.
So the Soul now at 3-3, and you're coming back home again. Some special events coming up down at the Wells Fargo Center we'll be telling you about later in the show. But let's just talk about Pittsburgh. It's a divisional game for you. It's one of your rivals, Pittsburgh and Cleveland, head-to-head.
Yeah, you know, they're kind of in a little bit of a slump right now, but it's arena football. Anything can happen in any game. Coach Stingley's going to have a good defensive game plan for us. And, you know, we just got to go out and execute. I think we need to roll over some confidence we gained this week. We kind of started to play a little soul ball this week and start to feel like in and out of the huddle, a little more tempo. We just got to keep doing that. DBs did a great job covering up the receivers this last week, and we got good pressure on the quarterback, and I promise you it will continue doing that. And just keep working hard in practice so you get those bounces going your way in the game.
Dan Rautoball, the second-year quarterback for the Philadelphia Soul. His offense had it 11 times against Chicago, scored 10 touchdowns and 1 field goal. You ever had a night like that?
Yeah, I think we've had a few of them, but first of the first of those this year, and hopefully many more to come.
Very nearly a perfect game, and look forward to seeing Dan enjoy your meal as always here at Chickens and Pete's with Coach, and come out and join us when we tape on Monday nights. And when we come back, we'll talk with one of the standout stars on defense for the Soul. Rayshon Kaiser will join us, and then we'll tell you about some very special nights coming up this season when we come back with more of the Soul Insider, brought to you by Foods Galore.
Ticket packages are available for the next Soul home game. Call the ticket office at 888-789-SOUL or PhiladelphiaSoul.com.
Colonial Marble and Granite. Quality, selection, service, and price. We're the nation's leading fabricator. We buy direct, saving you money. Offering thousands of choices and hundreds of colors. All on site in our one-of-a-kind indoor slab yard. Colonial Marble and Granite. The original home of the $19.99 special. Get your new granite countertop for just $19.99. Fully installed. Stop by our King of Prussia Super Showroom and see how easy, affordable, and beautiful your countertops can be. Visit us online at colonialmarble.net.
Remember this name, Lundy Law.
Hi, I'm Tony Mitchell, Brinker Simpson & Company, Certified Public Accountants. We offer comprehensive financial compliance and tax services. As Philadelphia's leading tax and advisory firm, we let our clients say it best.
Tony and his team at Brinker Simpson provided the expertise of a large accounting firm, but didn't forget their small business roots.
Brinker Simpson has a clear business vision that looks beyond spreadsheets and numbers and sees opportunities.
At Brinker Simpson, firm relationships build success.
Scott, he do a great job for us, whether it be, the steak meat, the lobster, everything is our own brand. It's a testimonial to Foods Galore.
Service is what's made our company. Loyalty, reliability, honesty. Your growth was one of the main reasons why I evolved in the business.
People look at Chicken and Pete's as a success story, but it's actually your success story. It works just like a marriage. Because I still have my wife and I still have you.
And now, the Stop Pain Stop of the game.
I'm Lou Tilley with the Soul Insider, brought to you by Foods Galore. The Stop Pain Stop of the game. Rayshon Kaiser coming up with the big interception in the third quarter at Chicago, and he's our guest now as the Defensive Player of the Week, number 7. That's a heavy number to wear in Philadelphia. Do you know why?
Ron Jaworski.
You got that right. The coach let you know, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. He let me know all the time.
Big Ron right there in the front row, always looking over your shoulder.
Can't miss him.
You can't miss him. And, hey, you were one of the real ball hawks in this AFL, and all of us, like you said, when I saw you tonight, I said, you got one. It's really a momentum thing for defensive backs, isn't it?
Right. It's definitely a momentum thing. Like, once you get the first one out the way, the rest of them, just come along.
How would you describe it when you're a defensive back in this Arena Football League where the receiver coming at you sometimes has a 15-yard running start? How do you defend that?
I mean, it's never easy. That's number one. But it takes a lot of practice, a lot of film studying. It's my 4th year in the AFL, so a lot of it come easy to me. But, coming in as a rookie, it's kind of hard to adjust to this.
But when the teams in this league score on 75% of their possessions, on defense then, it's almost worth going for the gamble, taking the risk to try and make a pick, yes?
Yeah, I agree. You gotta take a gamble sometimes. It's the only way you're gonna make plays. That's how I've been fortunate enough to make a lot of plays in my career. You gotta gamble at times. You just gotta pick and choose when to gamble. It's a question.
Well, how do you do that? Is that film study where you start to recognize routes and instinctively move?
Film study, sometimes the coverages. If you're in the right coverage, sometimes you can be more aggressive on certain routes they do. So it's just basically film studying is the main thing.
And in our league, when you're playing in the conference and in the division, do you start to get to know these guys that you see on a regular basis?
Oh yeah, once you play in this league, I'll say a good 2 years, you start knowing everybody. So to me, when I go out on the field, it's like, practicing against them. So I know half the receivers in this league, so I mean, it's nothing new I haven't seen yet.
Well, in this big win at Chicago this past week, your offense scored on all 11 of their possessions, but your defense had 3 turnovers, including your interceptions, and 2 stops on downs. So you had 5 stops out of their 11 possessions. Pretty good job by the D.
Yeah, I mean, we've been playing pretty good so far this season. I mean, we had some big stops. Anytime we can give our offense at least 3 stops, we probably gonna win the game with our offense.
Got Pittsburgh coming in here to the Wells Fargo Center on Saturday night. Know much about them?
I mean, they're struggling right now, obviously.
They only have 1 win on the year.
Yeah, 1 win. I mean, but you can't never take anybody for granted in this game. It's arena football. Anything can happen on any given night. So, I mean, they're going to come ready to play. So I know we got to bring our A game and make a statement this game.
Yep, the Cleveland game should be a reminder of that to all of your guys. Number 7, back on track again. Maybe that's the number by the time this year is all over. You play 18 regular season games. Is that a good goal? 7 interceptions?
I got to get double digits.
Double digits?
I've been having double digits my whole career, so, you know, the goal is getting double-digit picks.
That's right. Rayshon Kaiser wears number 7 right in front of Jaws, one of his owners on the sidelines with the Philadelphia Soul. We'll be telling you about some big dates to mark on your calendar with the Philadelphia Soul when we come right back from Chickies and Pete's. It's the Soul Insider, brought to you by Foods Galore.
Ticket packages are available for the next Soul home game. Call the ticket office at 888-789-SOUL or PhiladelphiaSoul.com.
Stop Pain is really a godsend because I apply it and within minutes I get fast pain relief. Arthritis has set into my hands. I've broken every finger on this hand playing football. And there were times I felt so bad in the morning I couldn't play golf. But since I've started using Stop Pain, I can play golf every day. I can go for long walks. I enjoy active times with my grandkids. I can attribute that to Stop Pain. It really has made a remarkable difference in my life.
Ready for a little fun? You could scratch your way to instant winning. Play the Pennsylvania Lottery's new instant game, $1 Million Match, with 5 top prizes of $1 million. It's kind of fun to go first class. Keep on scratching.
Bradford White Water Heaters. American made, American owned. Built to be the best. Why would you buy any other brand? Visit BradfordWhite.com to find a contractor near you.
Remember this name, Lundy Law.
Soul Injury Report brought to you by 1-800-LUNDY Law. Remember this name. Here's a look at this weekend's game. The Injury Report brought to you by 1-800-LUNDY Law. Remember this name.
I wake up at 5 in the morning, I couldn't sleep, and I hear vets have a 21% unemployment rate.
Marty Judge, Soul co-owner and founder of the International Judge Group, has turned it into a reality. An Arena Football League game pitting veterans of the Army against veterans of the Navy on June 22, immediately following the Soul 6:05 kickoff against Iowa on Military Appreciation Night. Tuesday at Philadelphia's historic Union League, the announcement of this historic inaugural game played to a sellout gathering of media and special guests.
Unemployment rate is staggering. Fortunately, we have men such as Marty stepping up and saying, we need to do something about it.
It's more about people understanding the veterans out there that are unemployed.
The Soul's on more. Keith Brown, a veteran of the Afghanistan War, was there in his uniform right next to military men in theirs, as Judge VIP Careers begins the work of training and placing returning veterans into the workplace.
Thanks again to everybody for participating in this. It's a great idea, and let's focus attention on one of the national challenges that we have.
And welcome back. And now I'm joined by Chris Kirchner from the Philadelphia Children's Alliance to tell us about another very special date coming up, a home date on May 18th. Right. We're calling it Stand Up and Take the Pledge. And this is for victims of child abuse.
Right.
And you've been doing this how long, Chris?
For about 20 years.
20 years.
Right.
And it was only last year when the Sandusky scandal really brought it into focus. In some ways, brought the attention where it should be focused.
It absolutely did, yeah, the Sandusky case. And there were a lot of headlines last fall in the Philadelphia area related to child sexual abuse. And if there was a silver lining, it was that this issue got a lot more attention. I think people got a renewed sense of, wow, this is still going on. It's right under our noses and we don't recognize it. People still are reluctant to report, which was sort of surprising. And so it was a great opportunity for us to educate the community.
So we did this last year. Here's some video of the press conference we had last year where the city and the Stars all got behind you. This May 18th game, any ticket that you buy through this special portal, $15 on each ticket will go to you, right?
Absolutely. We're a private nonprofit, and that's terrific fundraising for us.
And since we talked last, a year ago, you're about to move into a new facility on Hunting Park up in North Philadelphia.
Yes.
Right there on the doorstep with the police that are working with you hands in hand.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be co-located, and we'll be with the Child Welfare Agency, the police. We'll have medical exams on site. So when there's an allegation of sexual abuse, children won't go around the city being interviewed by many different people. They'll come to that facility, and all the resources and services that they need for healing are going to be present. So we're moving in about a month.
You've had some problems with that even, right?
Yeah,
Your building was ready to go. Tell the folks what happened.
There was a construction mishap. Wow. And I think that from what I understand, there was just too much weight on a roof that wasn't quite complete. So it did set us back a couple months, but it wasn't too bad.
That doesn't work very well, does it?
No.
Now, if people want to get involved and use the Soul's Focus here and this campaign and this show, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, well, they can certainly call us anytime. The Philadelphia Children's Alliance is 215-387-9500, or to purchase tickets through the special portal, it's the website is www.philadelphiasoul.com and then /standup13.
That's terrific. Chris Kirchner and the Philadelphia Children's Alliance, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
Good
We
luck,
appreciate
and we're calling
the
on you
support.
on the 18th to come on out to the Soul game, but make sure you buy your tickets through this portal so that the money comes back to her and back to the kids. And don't forget, this weekend, May 11th, the Soul are at home. You can get your tickets right here at 888-789. And if you can't make it out to the Wells Fargo Center to see it in person, we're back on the air on the Comcast network this Saturday night. I'll be calling the game along with Tom Goodhines. The Philadelphia Soul back to 3-3 on the season. That's the inside story with the Philadelphia Soul. I'm Lou Tilley. Thanks for watching this edition of the Soul Insider. The Soul Insider is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer, by Walgreens Pharmacy at the corner of Happy and Healthy. Stop pain. Stop pain. Exactly what it does. Bud Light. Enjoy an ice cold Bud Light. Here we go. And Executive Auto Body, presenting sponsor of the Philadelphia Soul No Fan Left Behind program.